Your alreet petals, how you doing? It's your girl Lai-Dee Flegman and welcome back to my channel, where we dive into the wild world of whips, chains and all things spicy. So what have we got today? Safe words and consent, the magic words that make the realm of kink go round. If you've been around for a while, you've probably already heard me say that consent is a major play within the world of kink. Newsflash people, water is also wet. All the seasoned kinksters are probably rolling their eyes at me for such an obvious comment, but for the newbies, we gotta make it prominent. Hence today's video, a kink-friendly guide to safe words and consent. So go grab a cuppa, get some snacks and make yourself comfy, cause here we go. But before we go ahead and talk safe words, I first need to talk about censorship, because this video, like all my videos, will be censored in some way. So if you'd like to watch the uncensored version, along with other exclusive content, then head over to the Patreon page, link for which is in the description. Thanking you all muchly. The what, why and when of safe words. Alright, first things first, let's talk safe words. If you're just stepping your toes into the pool of BDSM, think of the safe word as your emergency stop button. So when things get a little bit too intense or overwhelming or just not your cup of tea, all you gotta do is throw out your safe word and everything screeches to a halt. A safe word can be anything from unicorn to pineapple to the red, yellow and green system. More on that one later, but generally it's a word that's easy to remember and communicate. You want your safe word to be a clear word and something that couldn't have any miscommunication. Take for example Aria and Taylor. Excited to dive into the fun, they quickly jumped onto the safe word sunflower because Aria really likes sunflowers. However, while spread eagle to the bed, Aria gets a cramp in her leg and cries out sunshine instead of sunflower. Taylor, not being a mind reader, didn't know that she had meant to say sunflower and carried on thinking she was just really getting into it. Now thankfully Aria and Taylor discussed things afterwards and everything worked out in the wash, but my point is you need a clear, concise safe word. Communication is also key. Before you embark on your kinky escapades, you want to be sitting down together with your boo and talking about safe words, even if it's just to make sure you're both on the same page right there and then. And if you are, well, go right ahead and have a good time. But if you're not, well, that's definitely something you want to be sorting out before either of you get tied up. And let's not forget that we're living in the 21st century and kink doesn't stop when you close the dungeon. Online platforms have become a virtual haven for kinksters, from to video calls. The possibilities are as vast as the digital landscape itself, but online consent is just as crucial as its in-person counterpart. The traffic light system, more than just colours. The traffic light system is one of the more commonly known safe word systems and the easiest to remember. You've got green, which means good to go, then yellow or amber means whoa there, slow down, and the red, which means stop. This is the safe word system that I use when not using non-verbal signs. More on that in a little bit, because you have a middle ground with the colour amber. Instead of just straight up stop like red, yellow amber is a chance for a breather and a quick check-in with each other before going hell to leather once more. For example, Aria and Taylor are once again having fun together in the bedroom, after the last time they decided to adopt the traffic light system for their safe word. During a rather intense scene, Aria becomes uneasy and this time says, "Yellow, can we check in?" To which Taylor immediately stops and makes sure that Aria is comfortable enough to continue. After a few moments, Aria is fine and wishes to continue. As you can see, their communication is open and boundaries weren't broken, a major improvement from the first go around. When should you use your safe word? Now, we've talked about the what and the why, it's time for the when. When should you say a safe word? Well, anytime you don't feel comfortable. Yes, I know that's a bit of a cop-out answer, but that's because it's a completely subjective term. It's all about knowing your own boundaries and how far you're willing to be. To be is to be pushed over your boundaries and sometimes even past them. This type of BDSM play would be negotiated before playtime though. My point being is only you and your boo can say when you should use your safe word. That being said, here are a few occasions when you may want to use your safe word. Physical discomfort. If you're experiencing unexpected physical pain beyond your comfort level and/or pain level. Emotional overload. Intense emotional responses such as anxiety or stress may prompt you to use your safe word. Unexpected trigger. Certain actions and/or words may unintentionally trigger a negative response. Communication breakdown. If you feel that communication during a scene is breaking down and/or failing, use your safe word. Medical concerns. That's if there's a certain health scare or a simple discomfort related to an existing medical condition. Equipment malfunctions. In situations that involve restraints or specialised equipment, a safe word is a must in case said equipment should fail. Exhaustion and mental fatigue. Long scenes and mentally and physically intense activities can lead to fatigue, so using your safe word is key in these situations. Concern for partner. Sometimes one partner may notice signs of distress or discomfort in the other. If this happens, they may use the safe word to voice their concerns. Loss of comfort. Changes in comfort levels, whether due to temperature, positions, or other environmental factors, may also prompt you to use a safe word. The power of non-verbal cues. Now let's talk about the unspoken part of kink. That's right, I'm talking about the non-verbal cues, because sometimes words can fail us. Other times you've got a stuffed in your mouth to keep you quiet. In these instances, body language or non-verbal signals step in. It could be a simple nod, a tap, or a well-placed grunt. Anything that could communicate when you can't. This is of course done at your own risk. I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just telling you how to do it safely. And also beware that non-verbal shouldn't replace the safe word. They should be used in tandem with each other. When not to use safe words. Yes, I'm aware I've gone on for at least 10 minutes about why you should always use a safe word, but there are a few instances when you wouldn't want to use a safe word. One of these instances would be play. I've mentioned play briefly earlier, and to save a 10-minute explanation, edge play is a type of play wherein you and your boo push boundaries much further than you would normally go. Now I know what you're thinking, but Flegman, how will I let them know that I'm uncomfortable? Well, that's kind of the idea of edge play. You're not meant to feel quote-unquote comfortable. You're consensually pushing your boundaries for the pleasure of it. Being uncomfortable is the general desire of it all, or at least a good part of the desire of it all. Another scenario where you may not want to use your safe word, and that's if you and your boo have already negotiated in the scene and have given informed consent. With this in place, the use of a safe word could be benched for the duration of the play. And this then leads us on to the final instance. Consensual, non-consensual, often shortened to non-con or CNC. Much like with the previous scenarios, with CNC you discuss and negotiate what the scene will be, but with the adage that the safe word is taken out and can't be used. Now CNC is not for the faint of heart and requires intense communication and negotiation, and quite frankly a lot of maturity as well. If you're even thinking about exploring this type of play, please make sure you've got a solid foundation of trust, experience and communication with your boo. I will be doing a video on this type of play in the near future, but again this is something I would say is for experienced and quite frankly mature adults out there. Please do your research on the topic before attempting it. So you've had to use your safe word. Now what? So you've had to use a safe word. Firstly, don't worry about it. Make sure you have some water and take a deep breath. You good? Good. Having to use your safe word is nothing to be ashamed of. I've had to use it a few times due to having hypermobility in my arms and hips. There's nothing worse than getting cramps at the crucial moment, you believe me. Now you've got a decision to make. Do you continue or do you stop? Well, again, that's something you have to decide. If you feel like you can continue after the break, go right ahead. If you'd prefer to stop, that's fine too. If you do decide to stop, then initiating aftercare straight away is of course the best course of action. Have a real good snuggle and talk about how the scene made you feel and anything you wish to do differently next time. If you decide to continue, go slowly and work back to where you were in the scene. While there, you can work on anything that you've discussed during the break. Consent violations. When the fun stops. Yes, I'm aware that's a gambling slogan, but it also works well for this next section. Now, let's address something important real quick. Consent violations. It's the dark side of BDSM, the part that's not all silk ties and blindfolds. If someone says stop, you stop. Consent is not negotiable and violations are not to be taken lightly. If you find yourself in a situation where your boundaries are crossed, don't sweep it under the rug. Speak up, share your feelings, set clear boundaries and re-evaluate the dynamics. Now I will say that not all consent violations are the same. There is a scale of degree dependent upon the severity of the violation. I know the pitchforks are already heading my way, but let me explain my point. I have two consent violations that are examples of the type of scale I'm talking about. These have both happened to me at different parts of my life. The first one occurred while being handcuffed to the bed. The partner I was with asked if I wanted to try bum smacks, and I declined. Now, either he thought he was being suave, or just being a twunt. He decided to retort that I wasn't in the position to decline, and proceeded to try. Thankfully the condom broke. Well, I say thankfully, it hurt, but it meant he stopped as well and then proceeded to get a swift kick in the chin from yours truly. This was a clear consent violation, and had I had more sense, I would have done something about it. Or what it's like to be young, dumb and full of... So yeah, on a scale of bad to you done goofed, this one is pretty up there. Now I blame it on being a young teenager and not being able to communicate properly. He realised he messed up and it never happened again. Yes, I'm aware that in this day and age it would probably be classified as a... but I generally don't see it as that. We were young and exploring boundaries, and he fucked around and found out, as they say. Now that's not me saying that if this happens to you, don't do anything about it, of course not, but also don't overreact is basically what I'm saying. Now, the second one occurred much later in life, and while in the throes of passion, I got cramps and needed to use my safe word. Unfortunately, it was right at the moment of the happy ending, and he wasn't able to really do anything other than explode, pun most certainly intended. So, what about this consent violation? On the scale, it's pretty low, especially when I wasn't left in discomfort for very long. This time, it's certainly not a major consent violation in my opinion. We talked about it afterwards, he apologised, and then proceeded to give me my aftercare items to help ground me back into reality. At the end of the day, if you feel like your consent has been violated, you need to communicate this. Do not just bottle it up and let it eat away at you. Nor should you go to social media and scream at either. Social media cannot help you in this situation. In fact, in some cases, you could actually make it worse by going to social media if it ever comes to charges in court and whatnot. And there we have it, folks, the lowdown on safe words, consent, and all the juicy in between. Whether you're a seasoned explorer or just a wide-eyed novice, the key to unlocking the full potential of your adventures lies in communication, trust, and an unapologetic curiosity. What do you think? Did I leave anything out? If you think I did, leave a comment down below telling me all about it. Or if you've ever had a consent violation, comment down below. Try and keep it light though, we are on YouTube, remember. I'm thinking around the 10th episode I'm gonna do like a viewer comment episode, so you never know, I might just read out your comment. But anyway, this is the end of the episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, join the Patreon, all that jazzy jazz. Stay spicy, stay safe, and may your adventures be as thrilling as they are consensual. This is Lai-Dee Flegman signing out, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye!